If I gave you the truth, would it keep you alive? Though I'm closer to wrong.
Welcome to Insights. I'm Eric, and thanks for stopping by. We're going to do a Bitcoin report update. And normally I would include this for all that are participating in this report space. There's quite a few of you, but I had just did a poll. I kind of recognize the people who follow me don't really care about cryptocurrency too much, but I'm sure there's some out there that pick up on the Bitcoin hashtag, and clearly nobody's too worried about that. So I'm going to make this one open just to show people out there, and maybe I'm just talking to the people that follow me, that it's amazing how many people are turning bullish in the crypto space. I can see the laser eyes popping into the slight decline here. I'd be careful with that. It doesn't jive with the message of the market, the invisible hand. There's people with hundreds of thousands of followers plus that clearly don't know how to read trends. Now, if this drops me down to 100 followers, well, if they're active, that's all I care about. If it's necessary, then and so be it. I mean, I think it's time to open the door and show people how you study markets. We're talking about Bitcoin. We have Ethereum up here. Really, Bitcoin's the focus because it has an energy build, and we're going to be talking about that. People are turning bullish into Bitcoin despite the fact that we have a yellow number right here in BRT, which this generates a primary flip in progress, FIP in the coding to the downside. BRT is 1, and that's for bear. There's not many of them. It's amazing that people are turning bullish as a flip in progress takes place here in late June, and we're going to have a bona fide flip in February. I think that's where we're opening this discussion. Now, chasing this flip that will probably take place in February may not be the smartest move right out of the gate. The daily time cycle is 2.6. The price cycle is 2.6. That's BRS. The time cycle BRST, T for time, is 1.91. So at 49 days, this is almost extended. We're running out of time to the downside, which the computer is slapping us in the back of the head and saying, well, we need some type of reaction here. It's probably going to take place in February. So it's probably going to take place as the primary trend flips down. Maybe it takes place a few weeks afterwards. It's difficult to call. These numbers can go quite high in volatile markets, and Bitcoin is a volatile market. But I'd be careful assuming that this thing can't go down. Primary trend flip down can be very dangerous, and especially in volatile markets. But I'm expecting that we're going to need some type of bounce here. And then if the bounce fails, and we're going to take a look at some of the targets, we track GBTC, and I know that's heresy, but we do that because the computer needs a specific feed. It needs volume and it needs it fast. So everyone else who can have a coronary about that, it really doesn't matter. This is a over-the-counter tracker, and it does pretty well. If this thing goes down and you're still having bullish expectations on Bitcoin, and we can tie this to Ethereum, but I'm not going to go that deep because this is going to be an open report segment. If this was closed, I would talk about that as well. And there's extreme amount of danger in here, and it flows within the intermarket trends between the two of them. They are deteriorating. Anyone who's participating in this report, go back and see the previous updates, and we'll know what we're talking about. And I can tell you that spread between the two of them is narrowing quite fast. If that turns down, all hell's going to break loose in this space, and I guarantee it. All hell is going to break loose in this space because it's going to go risk off. When it does do that, I'll update the report for subscribers only. But right now, we're opening the door to how we actually trade markets and how we trade Bitcoin. So this is a dangerous setup. And I know that seasonally adjusted periods for Bitcoin, nothing ever goes down because that's all you see is a bull market. And bull markets create religious and spiritual backdrops. So nothing bad can happen, but I can guarantee that is not going to keep you immune if the setup changes, and the setup changes to favor the bears. Now, we've only seen the bulls being favored, but let's talk about that a little bit here. I'm only going to go into the reversal charts because rather than normally I would talk about the sticks and I would talk about all sorts of things, but we're going to keep this one a little bit shorter because it is open. But we're going to talk about the weekly reversals. Now, the reversal zones are zones in which the computer recognizes I'm going to flag a couple of them here. Now, these are dynamic, these change. So, anyone who subscribes to the matrix in particular, keep an eye on these there. They're here inside the reversal tabs, and they're found in these areas daily, weekly, and monthly, and they will change. Right now, they've been relatively static. The biggest problem is we took out 27.47. The current price is 25.72. So that's these lines are all located right here. These are the numbers here. These can change, so keep an eye on them. That's why I can reveal them in an open setting. They don't change too often, but they change. The monthlies change, so keep an eye on all of them. But I will say that we've entered an air pocket. If we don't close above 27.43, uh, yeah, air pockets are points of which there's nothing in between. It's kind of like sliding on a frozen lake. If you have enough forward momentum, there's no friction to stop you. You're going to come right down to here to these green lines. These green lines, some of them are located here. Considering the current price, that's an ass beating, people. That's a 50% haircut. Yeah, I'm sure everyone's going to be waving their bullish flags when that happens, but you better be watching energy when it does. A few things that we've been talking about in the previous updates to these reports is the abysmal energy build into the current decline, and it continues. Now, this is DI, and this is DI right here, DI2. This measures energy. Bullish energy is above this line. Bearish energy is below that line. What normally happens is in a market that declines down, falls in price, energy goes in the opposite direction. If it wants to be a bullish market, it tends to accumulate. For months now, we've been saying the same thing. The decline in BTC has been associated with energy builds that are falling. It shows by these arrows here: down price, down DI, DI2, they're falling. This is not a uncommon occurrence in the last month, month and a half. I've said this has got a trend has got to reverse or some bad things will happen. Bad things are happening now. We're smashing through these reversal zones to the downside. We're entering an air pocket, and yet everyone's waving their bullish flags and putting laser beams in their eyes. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, that's crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. I mean, if you want to keep doing that, I guess you have some vision about what's going to take place in the future. If you're a pure trader, it's completely undisciplined. So if we fall through and continue to come down to this bottom part, the green lines here, which is the support lines, and the energy bill doesn't pick up, yeah, I mean, that's bad too. I mean, it's the invisible hand knows something that you guys are not talking about. I mean, well, I mean, I don't even say you guys. The market's not. The majority is a bunch of fools that run around acting like they know what they're talking about. I follow the computer. We follow the computer for a reason because we don't want to stand with them. I mean, the majority is dangerous. The majority is completely bullish still. Yet, if this falls, what do you think they're going to do? You don't even think they're going to sell. They're going to be forced to sell through margin calls, and that'll be even worse. They'll get forced selling into the decline. I mean, you wonder how you can get a 50% decline in a month span. Well, that's quite easy. This is what can happen. And if we slide down, I'm telling you, the energy build's not there. The Pro Index, which is a measure of professional versus public participation in the trend, this is generally down. And I mean, now you do get periods where they up, and it supports the rallies here. But what you're doing is each rally stage, there's becoming less and less professional support. That it could be an anomaly related to the fact that Bitcoin trades 24/7 and really 7 days a week. But there's really no professional buying even anywhere near showing up. It's all public buying. So that's not usually a good thing. You're standing with the majority when you're doing that. You want to go with the professionals, and the professionals are selling, and yet the professionals are idiots for selling Bitcoin because everybody should be bullish Bitcoin, I guess. I mean, that's what I see from the experts and gurus out there that are falling in line and pitching this instrument. You should be pitching the US dollar, but nobody wants to hear that because it doesn't fit their narrative. Now, what we're going to take a look at before I close this out, and I mean, I'm not trying to chastise anyone. I mean, if you want to be bullish Bitcoin and you can see the future of what's coming, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You place your bets. It's just that you can't fight the invisible hand and win. I mean, if the invisible hand turns the primary trend down, you're going to get destroyed. So, and that goes for any market inside the matrix. What I want to do is take a look at the energy build here and what we're really looking for. This is report grade stuff as well. I'm going to focus only the bullish energy builds, and I'm going to narrow these down. And what we're looking for is we're looking for a large highlighted spike, the one that turned the market here. Now, why didn't it turn before? Well, there's not a lot of trading history on Bitcoin in the futures market. It's limited. It started in 2018, so the computer is learning. So it picked up this one, but the next one it should probably respond much better than the first one. When it does, it should do so as the price declines, like it did here. Price is declining. We're flatlining. I mean, this is rare. It's not doing anything. Nothing's showing up. There's no interest when you change the way the DI is calculated. It shows a very large spike here, which is what turned the market. Again, it's flatlining. These are all things that suggest that the market's going nowhere. If I do this with a measure of uncertainty and spreading activity, it should be going up. It should be up here, but in fact, we're moving down, and these are all unfavorable things. What's taking place behind the scenes, even though there's not a lot of open interest in the Bitcoin futures contract, is just basically disinterested in the asset. Now, if this asset was going to the moon, and you're telling me nobody was going to play it in the futures and options market, no way. This has to pick up, and it has to pick up soon. Otherwise, Bitcoin's going to be replaced by a digital currency that's going to come from the public sector, and nobody's going to be liking that. And I think that's possibly what the invisible hand is starting to work out, because I think you got about 2 years before some type of choice is going to have to be made. And they're going to want to go to an electronic currency, that's for sure. I mean, we have an electronic currency before, but I'm not going to talk about the details of that. That's going to be restricted into the restricted to the report grade stuff for the subscribers. Bitcoin has a purpose, but it probably is not serving the purpose that everyone's thinking about. So I'm going to head back to the matrix, and I'm just going to recap. The energy builds are not there. There's no accumulation into the decline. We're in a bloody air pocket. Nobody even wants to talk about that. The fact that the primary trend is just flipping down, we got a 1 here. Yes, we have some extension in the daily, but I mean, if that comes up and we jump up and we unwind and then turns back to triple down, this is going to be early triple down inside an air pocket. I don't know what you expect, but in our world, when that happens, the bears are going to win. If you have any questions, direct them towards us. We can come back to the website. There's links all over. There is a standing Bitcoin report. All this stuff is tracked inside the matrix. So let me know. If not, thanks for watching the video, and we'll talk to you guys real soon.